Hi everyone, it's Brenda Beattie here from Brenda Beattie's Brushstrokes. Today I'm going to show you how to do a spring card, Easter card. It could be even used for a Mother's Day card. So today we're going to use some tulips and some daffodils. So these are the tulips I'm going to use today they will be my model for the card. And I also have some daffodils. It's nice to use the actual flowers so you can really have a good look at them from all different directions. You can see the backs and the fronts. You can see these delicate little pieces of almost film where the flowers have come out of. So on with our painting. So I've used a piece of paper that will fit in this envelope. Before I start, I'm going to fold it in half and I'm going to tape it to a piece of paper, to a board I mean, and when I tape it, I'll tape it around the edges and that will give it a border. This will fit very nicely into the envelope. That's a little bit of a tight fit, but it works just perfect. You might want to give it a little more room. I'm going to use my own paper this time because these cards are quite small and I want to do something bigger. The kind of pens I use that I prefer are called Micron. They come in different sizes. This size is 005. You'll see it has a tiny little nib. The problem with these pens that you have to be really careful not to press too hard or you press that little end right inside the pen and the pen is no good after that. They come in, all you need is probably two sizes. I have 03. Of course I have two of everything. 02, and that one's very old. You can hardly see what it is, and there's a bigger 02. So just show you the difference here. So that's a little larger. That is the 02. This one is the 03. Mostly I use the 005. Tiny little pen. These are great because you don't have to dip them in ink. You don't worry about having blots of ink, and they're really handy. You just stick them in your pocket. So you could do the ink work before the watercolor or after the watercolor. It's totally up to you. It works the same both ways. First, we want to know how to draw a daffodil and how to draw a tulip. Now I have made my drawing on my paper and I'm going to, in this case, I'm going to put the ink in first. Because this is 140-pound watercolor paper and I really don't like the way the pen looks on it, the pencil I mean. So I'm going to put the pen in first and then I'll do the watercolor. And I'm going to speed it up for you. So that you'll see I'm just doing an outline over everything in the painting. So we need to know how to draw a tulip and how to draw a daffodil. So I'm about to demonstrate that here. For a tulip, we have a cup-like structure for the flower. If we think of our basic shapes, it's a cylinder, but it's rounded at the bottom. And then we have a circle flattened, which is a sphere, which is the top of the tulip. Unfortunately, from school, we have, I guess from school, somewhere in our upbringing, we have some preconceived ideas on what a tulip looks like. One of them is this. That's stylized. But we don't see just the front, we see the back and the front. So these are guidelines that we put on, and then we start to do a little more detail. And looking at my tulips, now where was the tulip I was looking at? Here we go. The petals overlap. They're actually inside like this. And they do come to a point here. Then once we have the basic idea, we can take the lines away that we don't need. These lines were just guidelines. This gives you your basic tulip. And the leaf of a tulip, well, this particular tulip comes up like this. It has a rounded tip and back like this. You can see some of it here. Other leaves look like this. And they're quite darkened in the center. So there's your tulip. Just turn the page over and do a daffodil. A daffodil is a more complex flower, but not impossible to draw. I'm just turning my daffodils a little bit so that I can see them better. So we have a cylinder, very short one for these daffodils. For the big yellow daffodils, you have a longer part here. Then this is our sphere again. And then on the outside, we have another sphere. On this particular tulip, or daffodil, I can't see much of the stem. There's another flower in the way, so I'm just going to make it up. Now that looks pretty odd at the moment, but that's all right. When we get some details in, it will become clearer. It's got a pistil in the middle. All these lines come down here. And the petals come right here. This petal standing up. There's another one on the outside. This one comes out here. So the circle that I have drawn, this sphere, just keeps me in the right proportions. Sometimes I find it hard to paint and speak or draw and speak, so bear with me. Now I really can't see back here. And I'll erase the lines that were only my guidelines. There's one daffodil. I'm going to shorten this just a little bit. There. So the yellow daffodils have a more extended section here. So for a yellow daffodil, they're more like this. And then their petals come around here. And they have a triangle here. They have a circular part here. Not sure why. And then the stem. And then of course they have this papery substance that opens up when the flower opens up. Yes, should be more like this. So that's the yellow daffodil, and this is the white one. I can't remember the name they're called. Paper whites, I believe. So 2 methods of drawing daffodils. Now I have made my drawing on my paper, and I'm going to, in this case, I'm going to put the ink in first. Because this is 140-pound watercolor paper, and I really don't like the way the pen looks on it, the pencil I mean, so I'm going to put the pen in first and then I'll do the watercolor. And I'm going to speed it up for you so that you'll see I'm just doing an outline over everything in the painting. So I'm going to mask out the white areas of this painting. The daffodils are white and yellow. The outer petals are white. I'm going to use this Burma liquid mask to mask out the white. I got this very interesting brush. It's from the UK, called the Color Shaper. This end is called a mop. It's got goat hair bristles. And this end is the Color Shaper. These are excellent for masking because you can remove it very easily. This liquid should not be shaken or you'll get it full of bubbles. So you just gently rock it to mix it. Then put it on, let it dry, paint over it. It will preserve the white, and then we remove it and we have nice white paper underneath. So the masking has dried on my painting. Today I'm going to start with a new brand of watercolors. This is called Core Watercolors, and they're made by the people, the Golden people. Golden makes acrylic and oil paint. They're more well known for their acrylic paint. So this brand is called Core, Q-O-R. And I'm using some samples that were given to me. So I have 2 little cards full of samples. So I'm going to try them out and see how they are. So traditionally, watercolors have a binding of gum arabic. I almost forgot. And Core watercolors have a binding called Aquazol, which I think they're trying to keep hidden because their watercolors are said to be more vibrant and intense. And even after drying, they stay that vibrant. So this is how it's spelled, Q-O-R, and it comes from the Golden people. So I'm going to the colors I will use are Permanent Alizarin Crimson, Pyrrole Red Light, Ultramarine Blue, Burnt Sienna, Indian Yellow. Probably won't use Cerulean Blue or the gray. I may use Venetian Red as well. And Sap Green. It looks very dark here, but we'll see how it changes when I add some water. I'll start with the Sap Green. See how that looks. Look at that. Oh, beautiful. That's perfect. That's just the color of the leaves of the tulips. So I'll try the very dark color for the leaves. And I'm looking at my tulips as I put them on. The stems are lighter green than the tulips are. And I'm putting this on dry paper just to get an idea of the color. And I'm going to get some little darker. So I'll just put the paintbrush back here to get a little darker. I'm going to wet this petal now, and I'll put a little yellow in the top. And I'll put some red in the bottom and see how they blend together. Really nice to have wet colors running into each other. I'm mixing Pyrrole red and Alizarin crimson to get this beautiful red. The two tulips are just a fabulous color. Just going to let those colors blend a bit together. Do another petal over here, one petal at a time. There's some yellow in these tulips. Just add a little yellow along the top. It's a little light, so I'm going to add a little darker. If I wasn't doing this on video, I would lift it up and let the color drain down. But if I did that, the camera would not show it, so. I'll let that dry and I'll do the yellow of the daffodils. So the Naples yellow I have here is actually a really beautiful yellow. So I'm going to use that for the daffodils. I'm painting it on dry. And I'll put some more details in with a darker yellow. That's lovely. So because I haven't used these core colors before, I'm not sure how they will dry. Putting it on quite dark. Now the mask can be removed since everything is dry. You can use your finger and just pull it off. Pull it off. Can't get a hold of it. There we go. Or you can use this. This is a rubber cement remover or a biscuit remover. It's a piece of latex. I'm told you can buy them in the hardware stores for removing something to do with flooring. You can just run your finger over to make sure you've got it all off. Which is a really nice color. I'm not familiar with this color. I haven't used it before, but I think it will be perfect for this white. I'm going to add just a touch of indigo for it. So the gray with some little bit of indigo should be perfect. I'm going to use it on dry and see how that works. It would work better on a wet surface. Just add some water now, backwards. Easier to put it onto some wet paper. So I'm wetting the other leaves, the other petals. We have 2 layers of petals in some places. In hindsight, I think this daffodil should have been a little smaller. It would have been a little more in proportion with the rest of the flowers. Just finish this one up. And there you have your card. I could use the pen to do a few more details in the flowers. Sometimes I do, and I'll show you another one where I had used a little more detail with the pen work. But for this one, I think I'll call it finished. Thank you and happy painting.